In footnote 8, Bovis also discussed paying a former elected official to lobby for the airport lease. Blah, blah, blah. And telephone records confirm. See, they were tapping these guys, and these guys didn't know they were being tapped. And today, Bovis spoke about a chicken restaurant. I'm reading something. It's like a novel for me. Okay, Bovis and CHS 87857, that must be a confidential source, spoke about a chicken restaurant suitability for airports. Chicken restaurant. Bovis said he was going to set up this upcoming appointment with her and then a meeting after. Bovis said he would find out what it takes to do it. You hear this? So that's why you, John Q. Citizen, can't get a bid at an airport or at a public place like a bus terminal because you haven't smeared off. Bovis said he was going to ask her direct questions to get more of a guarantee. Are you listening to this? Bovis said, quote, his friend, they all think they're like wild gangsters. They all start to talk in code. You know, my friend. He's our friend. They watch too many movies, these guys. My friend knows all the airport commissioners. So they have, quote, maybe 4 of the 7 votes for sure. I just need to work on the other 3, and I'll see how many anybody else I can get to that knows the other 3. Anyone else I can get to that knows the other 3, unquote. Bovis explained he does not want to do this one like last time when he thought it was done and it was not. Confidential informant told Bovis to look into the lawyer, and Bovis said they might need to hire the lawyer just to cover everything. How do you like that? Then they get another tapped call, and Bovis reminds him that his friend Nuru knew all the people on the board, blah, blah, blah. And then we go down a list. Is this of any interest to you? You want me to talk about impeachment? Do I have to say Trump and Schiff and FISA in order to keep your interest? Bovis and had a series of recorded calls about scheduling a meeting. Blah, blah, blah. Bovis Muhammad, again, seems to think he can do it, just want to meet her, blah, blah, blah. So they go to the meeting with an envelope full of money. And they give them the envelope. Again, they think they're in a movie. They think they're doing their own movie. They're filming their own movie. They're all wise guys now. A $5,000 bribe, that's all it takes? Bovis stated that Airport Commissioner 1 said the chicken spot was pretty easy because Airport Commissioner 1 had looked into the competition and did not see anything yet. See, so she already violated her oath of duty. Airport Commissioner 1, I'd like to see her taken out in an orange jumpsuit. I want to see who I can't wait to see. You know what we're going to do is we're going to look up airport commissioners in a few minutes, and we're going to see how many of them are women, because it keeps saying her, and then it says Airport Commissioner 1 and she. So we'll probably get the name for you in a minute. Bovis then stated that they needed to get ahead of the vote because the vote would be decided ahead of time, blah, blah, blah. Bovis asked if everyone could talk straight out with Nuru, and Bovis confirmed they could. And he said, I'm good friends with him. How do you like that? So then, okay, is there any more to the story that you need to hear? Or are you already bored? I think the attention span of America is already is expired. It's like a shelf life. Clause D. Nuru tells Bovis to provide a $5,000 bribe for Airport Commissioner 1. When I come back, we'll read the names of the San Francisco airport commissioners, and we'll see how many of them are women. So if we can do a little detective work on our own, something a newspaper would have been doing if there was one, not run by the Democrat machine. I'll be right back.
The Savage Nation. It's savage, uncut, unfiltered, and raw.
We're talking about one of the biggest city scandals of modern times that's blowing up right now in Nancy Pelosi's backyard. Now, I'm not implying she's involved, ... But we have people listening to this show. They're on the edge of their seats because I believe there are going to be new indictments over the next days and weeks that are going to shock us. Antoine in San Francisco. Antoine, what did you have to say about this just now? You're a resident of the city, Antoine?
Yeah, I'm a born and raised native. I still live here in the city, sir. I want to thank you for taking my call. I listen to you every day.
Thanks.
There is a name to this lady you're talking about, the airport commissioner. Her name is Linda Creighton.
Now, wait, sir. Now, before we accuse her of being the commissioner number 1, how do we know that's her?
Well, we don't know for sure, but I just find that she coincidentally sent her resignation letter to London Breeze yesterday, the day.
Oh, God.
Sir?
Because, I'm not laughing at you. I'm laughing at the coincidence. So we're hearing about Airport Commissioner 1, and it's anonymous, but you're saying someone just resigned yesterday, Antoine?
the woman, Linda Creighton, she was as of yesterday. The air.
Unbelievable. We'll be back. If anyone knows anything more, call me.
The Westwood One Podcast Network. Fans of the spoken word, welcome. This is a podcast. Greetings, pod recipients. You are entering the Savage Nation. Read the book, see the movie. Warning, the Savage Nation contains adult language, adult content, psychological nudity. Listener discretion is advised. And now, the world's most exciting podcast, The Savage Nation, home of borders, language, culture. And here he is, New York Times best-selling author and National Radio Hall of Fame inductee, Michael Savage.
It is imperative that City Hall send a message that we have zero tolerance for blatant corruption. This is especially infuriating to me as someone who represents a district that has long suffered from filthy streets. Residents in my district have to step out and dodge feces, trash, and needles every single day. This is a terrible, unacceptable public health crisis.
Of course they do.
And
now
no
you know
one should
why.
live in
now
those
listen
conditions.
To me. All right, it's enough already with the bull. Listen, you're listening to a San Francisco supervisor who suddenly is shocked, I tell you, that there was corruption at the Public Works Department. He's shocked to death. He's just stunned. But I'm the only one who has told you for years that the reason the homeless crisis has festered in America is because of the large amounts of money that is thrown at the homeless crisis that doesn't even go to the poor people in the streets. It's stolen by the politicians. And they keep them in the streets so that we demand that more money be thrown at the problem. Do you understand how this is? Do you understand why these problems don't get solved? So I am talking about a huge scandal, and if you want to know more about the alleged crimes by the Department of Head there, Mohammed Nuru, and the restaurant guy, Nick Bovis, we linked it up, the actual federal complaint, the San Francisco Director of Public Works and Restaurateur charged with public corruption. Before I get back to this, and I'm going to invite anyone listening to this show in San Francisco or may have retired and left the city, if you have any insider information or any information about the corruption in San Francisco that you have known about, put a handkerchief over the mouth of the phone and call this show, because I've had enough of this. Now, the mayor appointed this airport commissioner who resigned the other day. We had a caller in the last hour who said she resigned the other day due to her health. It's true. The article just came out. She did resign, but she's going to be indicted anyway because she's mentioned in this complaint. She's going to go down as well. She'll do a Weinstein job. She'll come in with a walker, a mask, the oxygen job. That's the latest thing is the oxygen tent, the walker, the wheelchair. They come in to get sympathy for the jurors. I think people can look through everything right now. Everyone is so cynical. But before I get back to this, I want to go to the big story of the coronavirus, which has now been declared an international emergency by the World Health Organization. Finally, thank God. I happen to be a trained epidemiologist with a great degree from the University of California at Berkeley in 1978. Does it make me the world's leading epidemiologist? No, but I know my business. I did give you the history of epidemiology the other day. I think on Monday I told you about John Snow, the genius who first put two and two together on a diphtheria outbreak in England and closed down a pump, which was a common source for infection. No one had ever done that before, that detective work, disease detectives. So as a disease detective, both personal and international and more broadly for the radio show, I have been screaming for weeks now to stop air travel from China to no avail. Because why? Corruption. Things don't just happen because they make sense. Because there's too much money at stake. And this is how a nation dies, from greed. Greed and corruption kills not only cities, greed and corruption kills states, greed and corruptions kill nations. Other nations have collapsed because of greed and corruption. But I don't want to get too far ahead of myself. I want to remain very specific. So WHO, which is largely a useless organization these days, it used to be, again, I knew scientists who worked for WHO. They were wonderful, first-rate, honest people. One of them in particular passed away a few years ago. He was a world-famous malariologist. They usually got the best scientists in the world at these organizations. And then what happened was there was so much money involved, they started to become corrupt, and they stopped doing really valuable work. So finally, who does what this little guy, Michael Savage, said should have been done weeks ago? Now they're declaring it. What are they going to do about it? Nothing. Nothing. They'll declare, and then they'll have another meeting, then they'll fly somewhere in this. They'll have another meeting. Someone will get schmeared to say it's not really spreading. No, wait till you see the corruption that comes out with this now about the coronavirus. You think there's no money being transferred here to make sure that no one hears about it? Are you joking? 76. Neuro told Bovis that the Transbay Transit Center rooftop was still available for development. The group discussed an earlier meeting and tour of the Transbay Transit Center. Nuru mentioned that over 500 buses would go through the transit center. The group, listen to this carefully, please. The group also discussed the possibility for a train station in the future and that there was potential with Salesforce employees at lunchtime. They continued to discuss restaurants in San Francisco until Nuru was alerted that Airport Commissioner 1 had arrived. I'll pause right here. She has since resigned. As soon as Nuru left to meet Airport Commissioner 1, UCE 79, and Bovis returned about the $5,000 bribe to Airport Commissioner 1. Especially Bovis said Airport Commissioner 1 did not ask for anything. No one asked for anything, but Nuru recommended they do something for her. He said Nuru never asked her for a favor before, but she'll gladly do it as a favor, so she may not even take anything. All right, good. So maybe she's innocent. It's possible she wouldn't want to take the money. That's nice to hear. Why she resigned, I don't know. And then you read on your own. You go there. Previously told Bovis no one asked for the chicken place yet. Bovis going to ask a question. Pretty sure we'd get the chicken place. Ask her direct. We don't want to waste. We don't want to do another RFP if we're going to lose to second place again. Bovis said they could explain to Air Commissioner 1 that they lost money and have lost twice. A real loser, this guy. And by the way, it's a nice restaurant, that Lefty O'Doul's. I knew the previous owners. When I first went on the radio, my friend was managing. He's married into the family suite guy. He died a few years ago, one of the most honest guys I ever met. I don't want to mention his name because it has nothing to do with this story. I used to go in there for a turkey sandwich and pay for it, by the way. Paid for it. I'm not like some people in the city who like the free meals on the arm. Oh, yeah, some of them wear Brioni suits, but they don't pay for any food. No, they don't pay for it. They don't pay a dime. They eat for free all over town. I made a rule. I don't want to ever eat for nothing. Please, I pay for my meals. There's another one with in town who wear the same Hawaiian shirts for 40 years. I don't even think he washed it. Another one took it on the arm to mention the restaurants on the radio. But he's small potatoes at this point. He's like a mashed potato. So you get the story. If anyone has anything to say, go ahead. Menachem in Miami. Menachem, you're on the Savage Nation. Menachem, what's on your mind, Menachem?
Hi, Doctor. How are you doing today?
Why are you asking me that when you know I don't answer such trivial questions? I mean, how am I doing?
I hope
my grandmother would never answer such a question. She was Russian. If someone asked my Russian grandmother, how are you? She would say to them, how should I be? I'm joking. So what's on your mind?
So, first off, I'm a third-generation Savage listener. And
Great.
I can tell, one time you met my grandfather, and he asked you a question, which is, are you the same in real life like you are on the radio? And you said, absolutely. And we appreciate that because you're real and you're true, and we like that.
Right, and I pay for my meals in San Francisco restaurants. I'm not an airport commissioner. I'm a talk radio host. So what's on your mind? You're calling from Miami? You're there for the Super Bowl, or you live there?
I live here, and I'm a Hasidic Jew. And, I love how you speak about Shabbos, Sabbath.
How about Donald Trump? Do the Orthodox Jews like Donald Trump?
We love him. Oh, my gosh. Best thing.
What do you think of Jews like Adam Schiff and Nadler?
Phonies. They're in it for the money.
You know what strikes me the most cynical of all is Bernie Sanders. For years he said, I don't identify with my religion, because he was a communist his whole life, and communists disavow religion, as you well know. To them, the state is God. So for years, Bernie Sanders said, I was born Jewish, but I don't really relate to my religion. Now, all of a sudden, he wants to appeal to Jews. Bernie Sanders, I wouldn't be surprised if he got a bar mitzvah in the near future.
You said it the best the other day. He's a grifter. The guy's a con man. No, I'm
sure we're going to see Bernie Sanders being bar mitzvahed in the very near future to show how Jewish he is.
we got to give him a bris.
Uh-oh, don't go there. This is a family show. But I could tell you some brisk jokes in a minute on another. Thanks for the call. 855-407.